Oh, gentlemen, it is time for Puck Passport, presented by Ticketmaster. It's time to grab a ticket to the games that you're looking forward to this weekend. I'm starting with you, Connie. Isles Lightning, your choice. How come?
Well, you've got two teams. The Tampa Bay Lightning have known that they're going to make the playoffs. They've known they're going to probably play the Toronto Maple Leafs for, it seems like, 3-4 months now. So there's not much in it for them. But for the New York Islanders, they are fighting for their playoff lives, and they have been really good lately. 5-1-1 in the last 7 games. As we take a look at Tampa Bay, who, they just want to make sure that there's no major injuries until the end of the season. They want to be playing their best hockey. They don't have to win every game, but they just want to make sure they're feeling good about their game. And I think they'll be able to accomplish that. For the New York Islanders, as I mentioned, playing a lot better lately. Sorokin, I think, one of the best goaltenders in the entire NHL. And he is really showing his form, especially in the last few games, where maybe the Islanders get outplayed, but they still win because of the goaltender. I think he's got the quickest feet in the NHL. He's smart back there. And they've got some lines that are scoring now. Nelson, of course, had a great year. Palmieri, all of a sudden, he's gotten real hot. Engvall, Pierre Engvall.
Parisi's 22 goals. I mean, 38 years old.
Fountain of youth.
It's great. Great stuff.
So, add all those things together, and this is going to be a big game of the weekend for the New York Islanders.
As we look at the Eastern Conference playoff picture, you can see exactly what Connie was laying out. Torch, time to grab your ticket. I know you're focused in on the Stars and the Avs. 4-point game, right?
It's really big in the Central. It's the only time they play each other down the stretch here. So it's a 4-point game. You gain points, but also home ice advantage. They're tied, as you can tell right there. But also, they got a game in hand, so the Central's still up for grabs for me. So I picked Avalanche when they were 20 points behind almost to finish here. So, I'm looking for them to have a big game on that tomorrow at home. But I think the Stars, too, also know that a lot of people don't say they're measuring stick games, but I believe it is. And it'll see where they're at defensively. McKinnon's at the top. These two guys, you might as well just show film on McKinnon and McCarr because they're just so dominating on the ice skating. And every night you're seeing a new clip that you can use as a teaching point in your summer hockey. So it's, to me, I'm going to grab 2 tickets and go to that game.
I would want to go with you, no doubt about it. These guys, so fun to watch when they are going. Jason Robertson highlights make me pause. Now I move forward. The one game I want to grab a ticket to, and really anytime they play, Flyers, Penguins, it's always ill will. But think about what's at stake. For the Pens, they're playing on Saturday against Boston. That's a fun back-to-back. Then on Sunday, they play against, yes, you don't see the Flyers on here, which is the reason why. John Tortorella's really good at what they call motivation. And if the Pens desperately need that game, well, John Tortorella is going to make sure that the Flyers are ready. He insisted that they get back to having pride in being the Philadelphia Flyers. That was marching orders from day one. Well, the pride in being a Flyer is beating the Penguins when it matters most. It matters most right now. This is critical.
It's huge. And I think the young guys, Tippett, Frost, Forrester, they're all starting to gain momentum, and they're starting to develop maturity and being consistent. So they'll definitely want to tilt them. But for Pittsburgh, like we talked about, these are must-wins.
Let's take the Puck Passport, grab it, and go back in time. And we don't have to go far back. 2021. Remember the shuffling that went on? So this was the semifinal round. Instead of calling it Eastern Conference Final, some people called it the semifinal. Bottom line, we remember there was a very memorable tilt in that series between the Isles at the end of the series and the Bolts. That's what joy looks like. Yeah. Looky there. How about it, Connie?
Yanni Gourde scored that only goal. It was shorthanded, and that's what made it really a tough pill to swallow for the New York Islanders. Gourde's goal is shorthanded goal. They win 1-0. The game before was the New York Islanders who won in overtime at the Nassau Coliseum.
Almost blew the roof off.
Was that their last game, too?
Last game of the
Nassau Coliseum.
Villiers scored the game-winning goal to force a Game 7. They had seen Tampa Bay the year before in the playoffs in the Eastern Conference Finals, I'll call it that. So, yeah, that was pretty memorable. And to think that the New York Islanders, just 2 short years ago, back-to-back They almost made it to the finals when you think about it, and both times the team that beat them ended up winning the Stanley Cup. So good for the Islanders. That's why they're hoping they can make it in this year. They've got all that experience.
What a job by Barry Trotz. Now that we think back on it, because you look at those rosters and you look at the Lightning rosters, and one team had more talent.
Well, they had the most goals against in the league, the Islanders, before Trotz took over coming from Washington after he just won the Cup.
True.
So his pedigree, speaks volumes. But for me, 1-0 game 7, I don't know what it's like on the bench that tight. I can tell you that.
It helps when you have Andrei Vasilevsky. Remember that stat we saw where him slamming the door shut was like automatic, and he was ridiculously good at it for like a stretch that lasted really long?
Oh, he's phenomenal in that. I mean, you can count on. I think he's going to be the difference maker here going into the playoffs. I think he's going to be a difference going against Toronto. So, check mark goaltending against Toronto for me with Tampa Bay.
Just nerves of steel. I mean,
seriously.
Think about it. Nothing phases him. And that's the thing about goaltending. When you let in a bad goal and you start thinking about it, that's when your performance is really going to tank. He lets in a goal, he just parks it and I got to stop the next one. And that's what he does. So that's what makes him among the best.
It was great working with Brian Boyle, who worked alongside Vasi as he was coming up and said, the guy outworks everybody. What an awesome compliment. We're going to take a break. When we come back, it's Ice Pass. Look who's getting loose. Marchand is just nonstop entertainment. The Rangers coming on the ice. The Hudson River rivalry tonight. Yes, please. So much importance. These games must watch.
Puck Passport is presented by Ticketmaster. Grab your tickets on Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the NHL.